Good day from wherever you are, and welcome to another episode of Heart Searching Hearts, where we talk to real people with real stories that have a real impact. I'll be your host for the day. My name is King. Do not forget to subscribe and click the notification button and follow us on all our social media platforms. So enough of me yapping, I would like to bring to you our guest for the day. So how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Asante sana kwa kutu host.
You're welcome.
So stay kuongea sana, ningetaka tu introduce kwa watu.
Okay, my name is Harriet Gathoni Mugweru. I have so many AKAs. I'm also a Mrs. Jenga, but recently just became the right-hand lady.
Okay. Now, I would like you to tell everyone who's watching, who is Harriet?
Harriet is a young lady, not yet 30. Recently got married, also recently became an amputee due to a road accident. But apart from that, I am a daughter, I am a sister, I have one brother and 3 more sisters. And what else? I am a fun person, I love fashion, recently I've just acquired some love for working out. I do love working out. Yeah, so that's Harriet.
Okay. Just out of my own personal curiosity, ni mtoto katikati? Unakaa mtoto katikati?
Yes, I am the third born. There are 2 elder siblings and 2 younger siblings. So I am the middle one.
Okay. Now, just briefly take us through your family life.
So growing up, life was relatively easy. We grew up in Nairobi, Eastlands to be exact. Life was good. We could go out and play, come back, be beaten. Like life was just kawaida, like kawaida kids growing up in a certain town, which in this case is Nairobi. My mom was quite strict. She used to take us to church like every single Sunday and midweek fellowships. They'd come to our house. Yeah, so that's basically our growing up. It was quite fun and easy. Yeah.
Now, for people who would like to find Harriet, juu wanakujua kama the right-hand lady, but you're also a wife. You're also someone's daughter. So people who would like to find you, where would people find you on any normal occasion, on a normal day?
On a normal day, right now, because I recently lost my job, so I'm just at home. So in the morning, I'd wake up, prepare for my husband, maybe warm some water, make breakfast, then prepare myself, then go to the gym for like 2 hours, then come back, then start preparing the lunch, maybe do some cleaning. That's basically it. I'm just at home. But if you don't find me at home, I love taking strolls. I love walking. I can walk from here almost to town. If I have the motivation, I'll walk. So anything that takes me out there, I'll do it.
Okay. Now, I would like you to walk us through the events that led to your accident. Yeah, so just give us a walkthrough of what happened.
It was on 16th of March 2019. I used to work as a receptionist in a construction firm somewhere near Gigiri. So it's called Tigiri. So we used to work half days on Saturday. So I'm from work. I was given a lift by a friend of mine, a colleague, to town. By then, I was already engaged to my husband now. So I came to town. I lighted somewhere near like Regency, and there's a shop there that sells rings and all this jewelry. So I needed to alight there and maybe shop around for the wedding bands. And I shopped with another friend of mine. So on our way to the bus stop, which is Ambassador, we parted ways because we weren't staying the same area. So we parted ways. I almost went to the bus, but I remembered I needed some blouses for the office. So I wanted to go shopping, and I left the stage went to almost bus station. So almost when getting to the entrance of bus station, I noticed I had like I think 200 bob cash. The rest was in my M-Pesa. So I was like, no, there's no need. Let me just go home. I'll shop another day. So I went back to the bus stop and boarded the bus that was there. It wasn't full. It wasn't empty. It had some seats, like different places. So I sat behind the driver. It was the bus that has 2 seats on this side and 3 seats on the other side.
Okay.
So I sat behind the driver, the middle seat, the 3-seater in the middle. So on my right there was a guy, and on my left there was another lady. Both of them were a bit big. So I wasn't comfortable, but either way, I don't like sitting at the back. So that was the only option. So we left town. Everything was okay. And this guy on my right started bugging me. Like, Madam, sasa. So I didn't want his stories. I took my phone, plugged in my earphones, and started watching a movie on YouTube. I love watching Hallmark movies.
Okay.
So I started watching my movie. All the way Mombasa Road, still watching my movie. He stopped bugging me. So I was holding on to the bar behind the driver with my right hand and holding my phone with my left. So we left Mombasa Road on our way to Embakasi, Utawala. There is some army barracks before you get to, what is this place called? After you get to Coca-Cola, there is 75 army barracks.
Oh yeah.
Before you get to the army barracks, there is a roundabout. After the roundabout, there is a stage. So I think there was someone who wanted to alight at the stage.
Okay.
And the driver was in a very high speed, and he was in the innermost lane, the right. So because someone wanted to alight, he had to come to the left. Because of the speed, he wasn't able to brake very easily, because there was a small saloon car to the lane that we are going. The left lane, there was a small saloon car. So he couldn't continue with the lane. So he went off the road. And off the road, because of the high speed, we turned. There's a ditch there. So I think the bang was too much. We didn't turn a couple of times, just once. We were just thrown to the
On your
left.
side.
Yes.
Okay.
And I always say I didn't black out, but I also don't remember. I didn't hear the bang. Because what I remember is from the way he was moving from the right lane to the left, because I was so much into my movie, I had to notice the speed, because he just swerved in a very high speed. So I remember me screaming, Jesus, like all the way, and everyone else at the back screaming. Not because we knew we were going to like have an accident, but because of the way he swerved. Yeah. And so I immediately found myself in a ditch. Okay, not in a ditch, in the bus, but inside the ditch.
Okay.
So I remember boda guys calling us, Madam Pitia hapa, directing us where we are supposed to go through. Then nikatokea kwa windscreen, because it was shattered completely. So nilitokea kwa windscreen, and nikienda kukaa, or me walking out, nika notice there's no, I can't control my hand the way I'm used to controlling it. You know, we take it for granted, the way you can move your hand and put it down. But at this time, I couldn't control my hand. It felt like I'm carrying something with my hand. So it's like a paper bag.
Okay.
So me going out, sat at the pavement, lifted my hand and placed it on my lap. And all this time, I'm still holding my phone. I lost my handbag, the earphones, everything. But I held on to my phone. It had that ring at the back, the one that you place on the cover. So my finger was in the ring. So there's no way my phone could get lost.
Okay.
So we sat there. The boda boda guys called some good Samaritans. They came and took us to KQ clinic for first aid. So on our way to KQ, I called my fiancé and I told him, babe, nimepata accident. He's like, umepata aje accident? Like, uko sure, uko serious? He couldn't believe the way I'm saying I've gotten into an accident, but I'm still the one making the call to him.
Alikuwa anaona una joke.
Yes. Ama, I don't know, sijui alikuwa afikiria nini, because I've never joked about something like that. So, juu saa singeweza explain, I needed to give someone else. So I gave the co-driver of the person who was taking us to KQ. And the lady told him, it's true, she has gotten into an accident and she's quite serious. So if you can kindly make your way to KQ clinic. At the army barracks, that's where my dad-in-law works, my husband's dad.
Okay.
So they live around there. So he sent his sister to come and check up on me. So when she came, she started screaming because I had worn a white dress and it was all bloody on this side and a sweater. So I couldn't really see what happened to my knee. I knew I was bleeding, but I didn't know it was that bad. I wasn't feeling any pain. For some time, I didn't scream, I didn't cry because my body was just numb. I wasn't feeling anything. So when she came and she started screaming, I think that's when I noticed, this could be bad. This could be bad. And they had to cut my sweater, and now I saw the real thing. My bone was completely crushed. All the arteries or the veins, all those were cut completely. Only some piece, like small flesh, was holding this part and the other part. The other part was cut completely and the blood was gushing out like crazy. So they did some first aid. They gave me painkillers. They put some things to try and stabilize the arm not to move. And by that time, my fiance had come. He called my brother-in-law. So they came and they decided to take me to Mata Hospital for further treatment.
Just before you continue, umesema ulifika hospitali, ikabidi mkono ya sweta yenye ulikuwa umevaa ikatwe. Now, first, what was your reaction on seeing your arm? Like, what went through your head? And also considering that your fiancé had already arrived kwa location, also, what was his reaction on seeing you?
I was shocked at first on seeing my hand, but I think I just started screaming, not because I was feeling pain, but because of what I saw. Because I had never seen something like that. I had interned at a hospital, but it's not the same as you being in that situation. So it was very, very scary for me. And I think the worst thing was this being the hand that had the ring. So I think that was the hardest part for me. Yeah. When my fiance came, it wasn't, he didn't want to show me. He behaves or he acts tough when he's around me. So he didn't want to show me anything. So the only thing he did, he came and directed the ambulance to where to take me. Yeah, that's it. He didn't show me anything. Yeah.
So, umesema they stabilized your arm and you were referred to another hospital.
Yes. I was referred to Mata Hospital and I went there. I didn't know anything. I think nilijijua nikiwa kwa gate ya Mata Hospital. Sikuwa nime black out, but I think ambulance ilienda that fast. So nilijijua nikiwa Mata and nikachukuliwa ka emergency. I was taken for an emergency surgery. Other than my fiance and my brother-in-law who had come, my parents weren't around. Yes, they live in Embakasi, but hawako wamefika in hospital. So mimi ndio nilisign papers za kwenda theater and I was taken to theatre.
Really?
Yeah.
You had the presence of mind to do all that?
I didn't know. You know, they're coming to you and they're like, we need to do this. So it's an emergency. You have to sign. I didn't know. Later, even my dad was telling me, what if you signed something else? Like you signed you're going to get amputated like immediately without you knowing. But at that time, do you really have the pleasure or the time to even think or even call someone to come and sign in for you? No. So I had to sign. And we went in. They corrected the hand. They put a plate where I'm amputated to the rest of the hand. We corrected the veins and the arteries, and I was wheeled out. So me going out, guys are all over because they are being told I got into an accident. So I was taken to the room, and they started to come and ask me questions. What happened? I explained. Actually, it was very, very strong because I kept on telling my story, not crying. I was done crying. So I kept on telling my story. Yeah, and on to the next day or 2 days later, they noticed I had a blood clot. So the circulation wasn't good to the fingers. It wasn't enough. So I had to go for another surgery to try and remove the clots. So the first one was emergency, the second one for circulation, the third and the fourth were also to try and improve the circulation. So in a span of 1 week, I had undergone 4 surgeries. And funny thing, my hand was the only part that was injured. I didn't have a scratch, even on my face. Nowhere
else.
I wasn't even hit. You see the way you'd be hit and you'd notice I am feeling a little bit of pain on my knees or something. I wasn't hurt anywhere else, only the hand. So a week later, this is on Sunday, the accident happened on a Saturday. So then coming Sunday, guys came from church because I used to be a youth leader and I am a very talkative person. So I have friends from everywhere. So my room was full. It's a hall, but you have your cubicle. So guys would come, so many guys. Like from the gate of Martha, you'd ask where Harriet is, and the guards would bring you to my place. Because at like a day or a visiting hour, guys would come, more than 20 guys would come to visit me. So that time, youth had come, my parents, friends had come, family had come. We are just telling stories. And one nurse came and said they wanted to talk to the family alone. So the family was left and the doctors came. I had 3 surgeons who were working on me. So they came. They had never come to see me together. They only came like individually because everyone was dealing with something specific.
Okay.
So I knew it from the time that they came together. I knew something was not right. So they came, they started undoing the bandages. So my family is on this side, I'm lying on the bed, the doctor's on my left. So they undo the bandages and they started explaining what they have been doing. And they explained and they came to a conclusion. They told now my parents. And now because of this, we are going to amputate. Me lying on the bed, it didn't hit me because that wasn't meant for me. They were addressing my family. So me, I'm still listening. And after telling them, he turned to me and he told me, now, Harriet, as you've heard, because of all this, we are going to amputate. And this is what led to their conclusion of amputating my hand. They said I got some infection, which is sepsis. I got some septic infection, yeah. And if they could correct the circulation from my fingers to the rest of the body, the infection would move. to my organs, and they would start failing. So they were giving me like 24 hours to make a decision. Other than, because after 24 hours, it would have been too late.
Okay.
So when they told me that, I wasn't in denial, but I was still not for it. My reason for accepting this fast, within even, I think, less than an hour, it's because my elder sister, she had some fibroids. And she went through some surgery, and she got the same infection, sepsis. And that led her to almost go to ICU. She went to HDU for like almost a week. So me seeing the way our family, we went through a lot when my sister was in HDU, there's no way I could put my family through that again. So it was quite easy for me to accept. But it's still not heartless. I am losing a hand here. So when they left, that's when I realized, hiya, the doctors aren't giving me another option. You know, before they would be told, tafuta pesa, tunaenda surgery, ukikosa, like kuna option B. This time round, there was no option B. And they left. That's when it hit me. I'm like, whatever I have been dreading
is going to happen.
Happening. Because each time I went for the 4 surgeries, I kept on asking the nurses and the doctors, have you dealt with a case like mine? And they were like, yeah. You know, even one of the guys who's working on you, the surgeons, dealt with a boy who went to, I think, Kenyatta Hospital with the hand separate to the body, and he was fixed and he's okay. So me hearing that, I was so much at ease. Because I knew, I knew
they'll fix this.
Yeah. So after some time, I saw my mom crying. I've never seen my dad cry. I saw him cry. Everyone left. And I was left with a family friend. So me, I'm there asking questions. Why me? Why is God taking away my talent? Because before that, I used to do some bead work. I told you I love fashion. So I used to like do some sewing with my hands, put on some patches. So I was like, why is God taking away my talent? And this lady asked me a very interesting question. It was like, okay, Tet, if it's not you, who would you give this burden to? You just think of all your friends, all your family members, even your enemies, your worst enemies. Who would you give this burden to? And I kept quiet for some time, thinking. I really thought about it. And there is no one that I could give this burden to. So I was like, no, it's okay. It's only mine, so let me bear it. And the nurse came, and I signed for my hand to be amputated. And as usual, my family was somewhere out there. So I sent the nurse, go call my mom. Tell them I'm going for this surgery. But before that, I had to call my shushu. So to explain what was happening, because she had heard that I got into an accident, the surgeries, and she didn't know what was happening. So I called her, ambia shushu, wameamua kukata mkono. And my shushu screamed. And she even dropped the phone.
Really?
Yeah, because as I told you, I used to make some beads. So my shushu would buy something, like a dress, and she'd call me, nitengeneze chain na earrings za kuvaa na hii. So she was very sad. Sasa nilihave kumwambia shushu, sasa zile chains na earrings sitakuwa natengeneza tena. And she was really, really sad. My other questions were, nitawezaje kushika my nephews and nieces? How am I going to explain to them? Tata left in the morning with 2 hands, and now she has 1 hand. It was quite hard for me. But from whatever I've been told, the sepsis and all, singekubali. So nika call my mom, my dad, nikaambia nimekubali kwenda theater. So come 6, nikapelekwa theater. And nikiwa kwa waiting area ya theater, I was still praying for a miracle. Yes, nimekubali to be amputated, but I was still praying and asking God, ni show tu sign. Wacha nishike hii mkono, because I couldn't move at all. Nilikuwa nimepaka hina ya black, and you couldn't notice the fingertips or the nails from the other finger or the rest of the hand. It was completely black.
Okay.
And so nilikuwa hapo holding this side of the hand, because at least hapa mbele walikuwa wameacha, haiko imebandijiwa. So I was touching it, najiambia, God, see, you just help me to move at least the fingers. Ni scream, manasa wakuja wanichukue niwaambie nimepona. And it didn't happen. So nika change prayer, nikasema, maybe ninaomba kitu wrong. Nikaanza kuombea God, if maybe you want me to be amputated, or this is your will, then just do something. I'm that kind of person mwenye I don't know if I'm not good at hearing the soft, still voice. I want to see the signs and wonders. Mimi ni huyo mtu wa nataka school fees, wacha niingie hiyo shule niambiwe naweza fanya exam. Without knowing where the fees is coming from. I am that daring. So that time nikaambia God, just give me a sign. So in the theater there are so many lights. So me lying there naangalia juu, and the lights flickered. Like kitu ifanyikangi, zikapotea zikarudi. And I was like, it's okay God, nimekubali. If that's your will, then let it be done. So nikakuja, nikapelekwa theater room. After like 4 hours, I was out of the theater. And at the waiting area, there's this one nurse. I don't know if her name is Ngesa. I don't know if she's a nurse or a doctor. I am not sure of her title. But she was very supportive. She used to encourage me a lot at the waiting area. So I'm there screaming, telling them I'm feeling pain, because I felt like saws were cutting into my bone. Like it was continuous cutting into the bone. So I kept on screaming, nawambia nipeni dawa. The nurse who was taking me to the ward, his name was Timothy. So I kept on screaming, Timo nipe dawa. Timo nataka dawa sahi. Then he's telling me, dawa ndo hii hapa kwa drip. Nawambia hapana, mi sitaki hiyo. Inakuja pole pole. Nipe dawa. Ile like nidunge sahi. So there's one nilikuwa nimepewa kwa theater, there's one nilipewa kwa waiting area. And on getting to the ward, nilikataa kushuka hiyo kitanda ya theater. So nikamwambia mi sishuki hapa, not unless unipe dawa, otherwise nitalala tu hapa. So akapigia the anesthetist, akasema ni sawa, I can be given another jab. But before that, on my way, nilikuwa nimefukuza almost everyone, because I didn't want them to see me in pain and they are coming, oh woye. I didn't want that. So wote nikawafukuza, including my fiance. I chased him away, and it was I think almost 11. So after being given the painkiller, I slept. It wasn't that bad. Nililala the whole night. And come morning, my brother was sent. Him alone was sent to the ward to come and check up on me. Because of the way I'd slept last night, when niliwafukuza wote, they were so scared to come to hospital. So my bro came, akakuja akanipata. Actually, nimekaa chini, I'm taking juice. And the previous week, nilikuwa continuously kwa kitanda, because the bandages were so heavy, mkono imehangiwa juu. So this time round, nakuja anipata nimekaa chini, I'm taking juice. And he went out very fast. And he called everyone, kujeni, yuko sawa. So they came, we told stories, friends that were allowed to come came, because not everyone was allowed. I think kuna wale walikuwa wangekuja hapo na feelings. So we limited guys. And after another 1 week, I was discharged from Mata Hospital. Yes, but going for continuous dressing every other day.
Okay. So how was life after being released from hospital, being discharged?
Life wasn't easy. There was still kidogo pain because of the wound. It wasn't also easy because I am used to dressing up, maybe small tops and just fancy things. This time round now I have to cover myself because I didn't like the way guys were looking at me. But for that one, for a week after I was discharged, I was just at home. Maybe going to the hospital, then coming back home. But come Friday of that week, I got some signs. I started vomiting, feeling feverish. So going back to hospital, they discovered I had severe malaria. So I was to be admitted again, blood transfused. So for the total of 3 weeks I was in hospital, I think I was given almost 12 pints of blood. And now I was discharged from Nairobi Hospital because of the malaria. I went back home. This is sometime, I think, in April. So I stayed home in April. Then come May, I decided to go back to the office.
Okay.
I hadn't healed completely, but I went back. So in the morning, I was dropped by my brother-in-law. In the afternoon, my sister told me to call her so that she'd send an Uber for me. But I had to face my fears. I had to do something because I was so scared of getting into public tattoos and transport. So this particular day I went to the office. When leaving, I didn't get an Uber. I decided to board the matatu, and going to town, guys are looking at me because I'm all covered up, and it was scorching hot. So I decided to like offload some, and they were still looking at me because of the hand that is in the pocket. And I still went on to my sister's place. I was scared to come to Tawala because that's where I had the accident coming to my mom's place. So I wanted to stay for some time in my sister's place. And getting there, my sister was so scared. She was like, umekuja aje? Ambia nimekuja na matatu. She was like, hey, hauko sawa, you're crazy. How can you come with a matatu in your state with bandages? Ogopi kugongwa. Nikamwambia I needed to face my fears. So after some time, I went for counseling. Of course, there are some few sessions that I had in hospital, but I now had to seek professional counseling like outside. Not my choice, but the rest of my family and friends thought that I was not okay. So wakani force. Sikuni, of course, nilikubali, but they insisted. And the counseling. And after a few sessions, sikumaliza actually. Sikumaliza. My only worry was, kila time nilikuwa nikienda kwake, was like, anaitwa Professor something, I can't remember her name. Nilikuwa muuliza, Prof, how will I be able to carry my future baby? I am supposed to get married. Nitapikia aje my husband? Like all this time, I'm not even thinking about myself. How am I going to look in front of my friends? How am I going to go out? So akaniambia, you just don't worry. The same way umejifikisha hapa na matatu, things will just work out. Take it one step at a time. And sikumaliza sessions, nilijiona nimepona. After some time, when I decided to come to my mom's place, I had to come with someone because it's still quite hard for me to date. Nikifika hiyo point, that specific area, kuna a certain feeling that I get, and I have to hold on to someone, at least squeezy. But then I had to get someone, so I called my fiance and we came with him. And from there, I recovered completely and never got scared of the road again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all that has happened, you've gone for therapy, though kumaliza, but life is moving. So how was your relationship with your then fiance? How was it impacted by all this?
Nothing really changed because he was always there for me. He never left my side. This guy could come to the hospital, the first person to see me in the morning, and he would be the last person to leave the hospital at around 11 or 10. I even used to know how he's going home because he don't have a car. So nothing really changed. Yes, kuna ile point ya at first he could forget maybe and come to this side and want to hold my hand, but relationship wise nothing really changed between us.
And what did that do for you? Knowing that mtu ameniona vile niko sahi, but still he looks at me the same way.
It felt so good, and to some point a very good percentage of my healing and my healing very fast, I think that was the cause.
Okay.
He played a very huge role, because when I was in hospital, when I knew I'm now going to be amputated, I had to ask him, hey baby, will you leave me? And he was like, ningekuwa kukuacha ningekuacha venye nilikuona time ya first aid where I came for you. So now that I've been here, I'm not going anywhere. So because I thought of, if he's going to leave me, he'd rather leave me in hospital, at least heal the stump and heal a broken heart. But he did leave me. Yeah.
So kwa akili yako umeshajiambia, this is the one. Now, when did you decide to tie the knot?
Before the accident, we had already started the plans. He had already come for the introduction with his friends. So what was left was the traditional wedding and the white wedding. So that is what we were planning for. So a few months, that was in March, so in December that year, we had our traditional wedding. And a year later, we planned for our white wedding. But due to COVID, we had to push it like a few months later. Okay. So we had our wedding in December 2020. Yes.
So you're newly married?
Yes, 8 months, almost 8 months.
Hizo 8 months inakupelekaje?
I think they're amongst the best months that I have had so far. Because there's one thing, if you get married to your friend, and not just your friend, like your best friend, the person that you can tell to tie your shoelaces and won't feel pissed. The person that will tell nihangie nguo nje and he won't feel bad. Those I think these 8 months I've had the best time ever. Yeah.
So hakuna tutabia yenye imekubo? Everything is
hakuna.
How was it for you, that entire process? Ukijua ndiye hii sasa naenda kwa kanisa, I'm getting married to my hubby, my one.
It was easy because this is something that I had planned in my head. I think every girl does this. I had already planned my whole wedding in my head, even before he engaged me. And it was quite easy because also the guys that we are working with, the service providers, like 95% of the guys we were working with, they were all friends and family. So it wasn't hard for me to run around and get providers. It was very easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me take you back a bit. You said that you had asked him if he will leave you before you went into surgery. Now, my question is, there must have been a lot of fears in your head. Ndio ufike hiyo point ya kumuuliza hiyo swali. A lot of fears, a lot of doubts. Could you please assume tumekuja kwa akili yako. Tell us what was going through your mind during that time, the questions that were boiling in your head.
I think the main thing was, this was something very new coming to us. Like, no one close to us has undergone whatever I went through. I don't know anyone who is an amputee. Yes, I might be knowing a few disabled guys, especially abled guys, but an amputee, I didn't know of any. So this was something quite new, according to me. So I was like, how is this guy going to carry me, or how is his family going to, like, maybe accept me and his friends, my friends, because there are so many guys who left me. They abandoned, let me say that, our friendship when I became an amputee. So just tiny things that led to this big question, baby, are you going to leave me? Because there's no way I could wrap around my head to this guy who is going to marry a lady with one hand. He expects food, anaexpect umfudie nguo, like unaona tu to swali tudogo tiny things zenye zilili tu kwa hii swali moja.
Na vile alikupea jibu yake akwambia mi sikuachi, how did that make you feel?
It felt so good. I finally got like an assurance. Unajua si wote we date, but we really don't know like huyu msee kikiumana kataka.
Doubts bado ziko.
Yes. So hiyo ilikuwa ni ka sure bet. Ka sure bet. Nimeambia over there I'm not going anywhere. I am here to stay.
Okay. Now, as we wrap things up, I would like for you to speak to people who have maybe gone through a similar experience. What would you tell them?
So what I can tell someone who's out there, who's going through a hard time, not necessarily exactly what I went through. You could be going through something totally different. Maybe you lost your job. You just lost something, or you're going through a phase in life. I would tell you to count it all joy. There's some time back I gave a preaching on that. Count it all joy. All this, the season that you're going through, it never caught, or you didn't catch God by a surprise. He knew whatever you're going through even before you started going through whatever you're going through. So you just believe in him and know he'll take you through that, and you'll come out victorious. And there's this one quote that I really love giving, and I even had my t-shirts printed, and it says gratitude turns what you have into enough. If you are grateful, yes, you might not be having a job right now, but you have good health. If you're grateful for the health that you have, it turns that into enough. If you're grateful for the 10,000 that you're getting as your salary right now, it becomes enough for you. So let me just leave you with that. Gratitude turns what you have into enough.
So for anyone who would like to follow you or reach you on social media, where will they find you?
I'm on Facebook, on Instagram. You can search for Tet Mugweru or The Right Hand Lady. I'm also on YouTube. I have a couple of videos and continuing to post some. You can search for Right Hand Lady or Tet Mugweru.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
And that was the inspiring story of Tet Mugweru, more famously known as the Right Hand Lady. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This has been me, King, from Heart Searching Hearts, where we talk to real people with real stories that have a real impact. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.